This does a test. I'm running the whole shed off of this power inverter. And it's doing it just fine. It runs everything. It'll run the fan. Runs the fan fine. It seems to run the lights fine. And I know already that it'll run that freezer fine when it kicks in with I had no problem powering up that freezer. So I'm just gonna let this run for a little bit and see what happens. All right, so what I'm gonna do is fix up my watering system. I lost 2 of my cucumber plants. They were the county fairs and they suddenly died and wilted. But I have 1 county fair left that's healthy, and all my national picklers are healthy. I checked the roots, I checked everything on them. I could not figure out a reason why. Yesterday morning they were alive, and yesterday night they were dead. So I went ahead and pulled them out of the garden and got them out of here in case they have some kind of a disease. They're supposed to be highly resistant. They're a hybrid that's highly resistant to bacterial wilt, but they just wilted and died all of a sudden. The vine looked fine, everything looked fine on them. So sometimes that happens with plants. My tomatoes are growing. I got them all pruned yesterday. I pruned the peppers and got them tied back too. So now what we got to do is fix our watering system. So I have really low water pressure here. My house was built in 1938. It still has the original old galvanized plumbing coming in, and they have to dig up the whole front yard down to the street to replace that, and I don't want to spend that kind of money. So what I found is that having these timers reduces the water pressure just a little bit more. So where I could just hook direct up to this and water 2 sides of the bed before, it now just doesn't quite make it to the other side. It's just barely dripping. So what I've decided to do was I added this timer and these 2 Y splitters yesterday. This timer just goes over here and powers my 10-foot bed as an independent zone. I have another 3-zone timer, and I'm going to put that in and hook it up right here. So that will break these beds up into 3 more zones. So I'm going to still keep them A, B, and C, but the A1's going there, and then A2 will go over there, and the same here. And then I'm going to take these U-joints off the ends of the pipes and just put a cap on them, so it'll be its independent zone. And I tested this by taking one off and putting my hand over it, and it had plenty of water pressure. So then I can get both sides of the bed watered sufficiently in 3 minutes. So that'll be good. So I'm going to go in here in the shed and get started on this project. And now that the sun is going down and it's getting to where I can work out here, it was really hot. We had a heat advisory today. And these cucumbers were all wilted back earlier, and they're all fine now. And my spaghetti squash all wilted back. And if you look down in here, there's just bunches and bunches of spaghetti squash growing all over the place. Let me find. There's more of them back in there. There's a little one. There's a big one. They're just growing all over in there. And my plants are finally starting to head out onto the tarp over here. And these will grow out and fill up the whole tarp and grow more spaghetti squash. So yeah, those are happy plants. After I gave them their potassium supplement, there have been no more signs of a potassium deficiency. They got their weekly feed yesterday. It got watered in, and they're all happy. My onions are flowering real good. It won't be too much longer before I'm ready to harvest the seeds from these. I'll pull these onions out and get carrots planted. So yeah, let's go ahead and fix the watering system. All right, so I went to Handyman. I got more of these end caps. I should only need like 3 of them, but I got extras just in case. I got some more of these couplers, and I got these. They did not have the straight ones this time, the 90-degree ones. And I had to search through all the bins to find these 3. They're really disorganized, and they don't stock their stuff at my Ace Handyman, but it's just up the street. So I went there. So I got this stuff. Now I'm going to go install this on the pipes in the garden. So, by the way, if you want to leave a nasty comment below about how my video sucks and I didn't do a good job and I need to do better and we're rooting for you or whatever, just realize that gets you on the banned list. So I just don't have time for nasty comments. So I just ban those people these days because I'm so busy trying to keep up with the comments from my regular subscribers. So now let's get to work on this. All right, so I got my bucket full of parts, but what I gotta do is now pull this part out, and I just have to put an end cap on these. Oh, those are the wrong end caps. These are 1-inch ones. I need 3/4 inch. Oh crap. All right, so what I gotta do is run back up to the store and see if I can trade these in for 1-inch ones. Or for 3/4 inch ones. Doggone it. All right, so I got her working. That one just got done watering. I'll go back here and turn another one of these zones on that we can see a little better so that you can see it work. I'll show you how these timers work too. So I have one main timer at my shut-off valve up there that turns the water coming on back here. So it only turns it on for like a half hour while all these zones water. And what you do here is you set your time. You hit the now button to set your time. It's in military time. Okay, and then you have 3 zones. A, B, and C. And so if you want to program A, you tell it what time you want it to start. Then you tell it how long. Let me wipe some water off there that you want it to water for. And you tell it how often you want to do it every 1 day. And that's it. And you just have to do that for all 3 zones. So starts at 7:30, runs for 3 minutes. The next one starts at 7:34, runs for 3 minutes. The next one starts at 7:38. See, that's too close. Let me. Yeah, 7:38 is too close. Because that one's starting at 7:34 and running for 3 minutes. So we'll have to reprogram this one. So 7:34, 35, 36. Well, this one's going to start at 7. Oh, 37's fine. Hang on. I have 7:30. And this one starts at 7:34. It goes 7:34, 35, 36, 37. So this one, yeah, should start at 7:38. Oh, you have to hit enter through all these. So we'll go here. Well, that one does start at 7:38. So 7:34, 35, 36, 37. Okay, so 38. Yep, I got that right. Okay. Runs for 3 minutes every 1 day. And then this one over here is set for the same time. And it starts at 7:43, which that one will run 7:38, 7:39, 7:40, 7:41. And I gave it an extra minute, so it's just switching timers. So I went here for 3 minutes. Then the next one, 7:47. So 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. And this one's 7:51. And then I have this one up here that's a little different. And so you turn this little knob to set time. That sets the time. This sets the start time, 7:52. And that goes to 7:47. So yep, 7:52. And then how long it's at that bed. I'm only running for 2 minutes. Really, I think I could get by with 1 minute, but I'm gonna see. And then how often is every 1 day. And then you turn it to auto, and then it automatically turns on. So the one down there turns on at 7:25, and it turns off at 8:05. so it gives it a little extra leeway. But that way, if I get a rupture in the hose, I'm not just spilling water out all day long. And so this does work. So let's turn on a zone here. We'll turn on zone C. You just hold down this button. It asks you how long you want to run it for. And it will manually kick it on. And that turns on this zone right here. And you just have to give it a second to build up pressure. And then it'll just start coming out of there real fast. It squirts the water out there. And this will automatically water the bed. This should be good enough now also to dissolve my weekly feed. It has enough pressure. It waters the plants right at the root. It stays up off the ground so it doesn't get all moldy and dirty like soaker hose does. But yeah, and that will water the beds, and I have it set up for all of them. So it took 7 zones and some old hose. What I did is I went to Harbor Freight and bought me a new garden hose, because my garden hose is getting pretty patched up and bad. Then I used the extra pieces for this. So, and this is a little bit long now. We'll move it back that way. Keep those all organized. And I put an extension on this one because it was a little short, so I just made up a little extension so that it's not in the air and I don't trip on it when I'm walking. I have to, now that I've had 6 strokes, the last one especially, I have to be careful about trip hazards, because my stroke affected my ability to keep my balance. So I can keep my balance pretty good, but when I trip over something, it really throws me for a loop. We'll turn that off. But yeah, we're set. So I'll come out here in the morning and just make sure these are watering. I probably should start at 7 in the morning so that I have time to check them all before work, but it's okay. And I have to put some more water in the bird bath, water my little tomato plant. That's going to go up front, which I might take it up front tonight because I have to water the plants up front tonight anyway. I have some cucumbers and stuff up on the front porch, so they grow pretty good up there too. But we got these old pieces of hose. I got one over here. I'm gonna grab these and put them in the shed. Keep them for later. You never know. Like whenever I see an old hose in the trash can, I grab it. You can patch that stuff together and make it good again. We'll put that up there. And then we're all set. So yeah, I'm off the inverter now, by the way. I had to run out. I got the wrong size end caps. I had to run out to Lowe's and get some more, so I just plugged the shed back in before I left. But I got it all done. So, automatic watering project finished. Now it's time to move on to another project. But yeah, all the plants are looking pretty healthy. Even my one that broke off that I had to stick back in the soil, it's coming back, it's growing real good. I had to put a stake in and tie it up last night. And this tomato over here is my Dallas Wilson Cuban. I had it up front to give it away, and it ended up falling off and breaking off, so I stuck it back down in there and it regrew, and she's growing like crazy. And I decided, what the heck, if it's been through that with me, it must really want to stay. So I decided to plant it in this pot, and I'm going to take it up front. Here, nope. I'm going to take it up front and put it on the front porch. Oh, there we go. So, but that one is growing fine. It's growing good. So just remember that if you break a tomato plant, you can stick it in the ground, prune most of the leaves off of it except for the growing tip. Prune all the bottom branches and leaves off. Bury it deep and keep it watered really good for a few days, and it will come back to life. But yeah, I lost 2 of the cucumber plants, so I'll just let some suckers grow over there off the other ones. They'll grow up. I'll still get plenty of cucumbers. I'm not worried about that. My beans are doing good. They're starting to grow up the strings. I got one that's about as tall as I am up the string, and then they'll start putting out lots more leaves and stuff, and pretty soon they'll be flowering and growing beans. So they're happy looking beans, and my garden's doing really well. I'm happy, really happy. I'm getting all these spaghetti squash. That saves you money. They want like $2 and something a pound for those now. It's crazy. So I mean, tomatoes, yeah, I mean, tomatoes are pretty expensive at the store too. All this stuff is getting expensive now, so it's definitely a savings. And I'll get those onion seeds harvested. I'm going to plant some Paracine carrots, and I'm going to overwinter those so that they will seed next year. And then I'll collect the carrot seed, which means that bed I'm going to eat the onions when I harvest them. But the carrots, the second year carrot growth, the carrots aren't too edible. So I'm really basically giving up a year of growing in that bed to get seeds, which I'm fine. I think I'm going to make this my seed bed. Like when I'm growing things that have to overwinter to get seed, I'm just going to make this little bed for that and grow my food out here in these beds. But all right, I'll talk to y'all later. It's Tom, your Frugal Prepper.